Hello. I got asked about stools and chairs, so here we are, surrounded by stools and chairs. Okay, the question was from Nick on Instagram, what kind of chairs or stools, and he mentioned props as well, so we'll talk about those, do you have at the studio? So, let's take a look. Okay, this is the second time shooting this because after I'd moved positions, the camera for some reason didn't focus last time. Well done, 5D4. Right, so what chairs, stools, or even props do I have at the studio? Not a whole lot, to be honest with you. Chairs wise, do you know what? Let's take a look. Let me grab you off the tripod. There we go. Here we go. Now, these here, if I bump the exposure a bit with the ISO, are all the stools and chairs that I have. Well, actually not, because I've been sat at one in front of this camera doing these videos. So there's some fold-out chairs, some bar stools, the director's chair, which is the yellow one that we see there, kind of cool. Found that in a vintage furniture emporium that's nearby. Most used one out of those is the wooden stool in the middle, to be honest with you, along with some apple boxes, because that thing is rather tall and people's feet end up kind of swinging in the wind. We also have, let me drop the ISO back down again a bit, that stool I've been sitting on. It's a horrible colour, do not know why I bought that colour, but there it is. Problem is with that, if you sit on it and put your feet up, you just spin around. So yeah, anyway, we also have, let's up the ISO, IKEA chairs. These are great, although they're very, 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 very comfortable. When I was getting this studio already years ago, I'd sit down, have a brew, wake up 3 hours later, dribbling because I've fallen asleep. Yeah, not a good sight. I also use apple boxes. These things are great. These were made by my good friend Mr. Bodie, and they're awesome. People can sit on them, they can be stacked, used for product work, putting feet on. Brilliant. Apple boxes, winner. Right, let's take you back to the tripod. Click. And I hope this camera now focuses on me. Here we go. Let's see. Have you got me, camera? I hope you have. We'll run with it anyway. Okay. Oh, to have a flip out screen. Right. So, as you can see, not a lot of chairs really there, Nick. Most common ones used, apple boxes, the wooden stool as well. And essentially, rather than these being specific posing stools or posing chairs, because I don't really believe there's any such thing, they're just bar stools at the end of the day. They're probably called posing stools in some places and the price is yanked up. Anyway, they're just stools and chairs, nice and simple. I would rather have, and I'm still actually trying to find something with some character, so something that's old, weathered a little bit, that has a little bit of interest and character versus a sterile kind of chair. I mean, there are of course some shots that you could do where you'd maybe want something very clean, simple, a white chair, a black chair, a grey chair, and those kind of things you'd get in for the shot. Either buy them, rent them, borrow them. If you buy them, you'd sell them later. You may have a stylist that will come on board that will be able to source that kind of stuff. That will be a set stylist, for example. So there's not really a whole lot you're going to practically keep within a studio space, you know, unless you've got a load of storage rooms to store a load of stuff. And it's the same really for props. I don't really have a store of props. I've got a few bits and bobs that could be used as props in shots. I mean, it depends what shot you're trying to create ultimately, but often you see images or portraits with props and they look a bit cheesy. They look about, well, here, just hold this for something to hold. Like, why? There's no relationship between the person and the prop that they're holding or the item that they're holding. So I don't understand why bother. at that point. So I don't tend to really keep props in the studio. I don't really have the storage space. I've got no interest in keeping a box full of hats and a lot of other crap, you know, taking up shelf space at the end of the day. If I need to shoot something for a client or for a portrait which involves elements being brought in to stylize it, and okay, props or whatever it may well be, then I'll get hold of stuff, I'll borrow it, I'll source it, and we may look at doing a set build or something, if that can be done, depending on what the brief is for the job. Then I would rather go that way. If I do need to buy anything, I'm probably not going to keep it on hand, because again, storage space is limited. So it would be shot, done, sold, returned, and out of my way at that point. So props, not really a big thing for me. I would imagine it's different for different areas of photography. So let's, if you did say specifically family photography, you might want things for kids to interact with. Totally get that. If you did say cosplay and things like that, yeah, you may have some props on hand to do that. So there's areas where you may have a collection of stuff, but certainly not for the work that I shoot. In terms of chairs and stools, you can go with a normal seated chair. You can go with obviously stools where they're sat a little bit more upright, apple boxes, old ladders, all kinds of things. Old furniture shops are great for having a look around, and a lot of the stuff that you find in those, like in furniture emporiums and such, that stuff was built to last. Like, they just do not fall apart, you know, rather than say modern stuff that you may buy now. It just lasts, and of course it's been used, weathered, so it has some character to it as well. I'm trying to find a couple of things, but again, limited storage. I can't keep just adding a load of chairs in the studio, so we'll see what I add in the future. At the end of the day, depends on the look you're trying to do. Try borrowing stuff first, see if you can source something to borrow and return. If you are borrowing something, take very good care of it. Make notes of the condition that you receive it in before you return it. It's not a bad idea to do. That way they can't go, there's a scratch, it wasn't there before you took it, when it actually was. Anyway, just cover your ass basically in that regards. So hope this helps. If you've got any comments and questions, drop them down below certainly. Is there anything that you're looking to add to your shooting area or studio space in terms of seating or props? What are you considering? Remember, you've got to consider the space that you've got. If your space is limited, you can't pile up a load of stuff, it'll just get in your way and gather dust in a lot of cases. So things which are easy to store, things which are multi-use are great in studios. In fact, that might make a good video for the future. Yeah, so considering things adding to your studio, make sure they're multi-use. Okay, I'll note that one down. There we go. I do sometimes have ideas. Anyway, any topics you guys would like covering, let me know in the comments below. Send me a message. I am looking forward to getting into the technical demonstrations, lighting demos, when I can get people back into the studio. Whenever that's going to be, who knows. Until then, we'll keep on doing this kind of format. If people have got questions and queries and stuff they'd like discussed, shout me, let me know, and I will see if I can make a video. Until then, I will catch you guys soon. Stay safe, take care, and I'm going to go and sit in my director's chair. Did that rhyme? I think it kind of did. Oh, there we go.